Hi everyone, it's Heidi here from the Nest Kids CPR and Allergy. I hope you're all good this afternoon. Today's live is all about burns because June is Burns Prevention Month in Australia. There is a sharp increase in burns in this month throughout the year, maybe because people are more inside more. As we know, a lot of accidents happen in the home. Most of the accidents happen in the home, so June is a month that Kids Safe have an initiative where it's Prevention Month. So I'm here today just to give you some preventative actions and obviously some first aid advice about burns when your child sustains burns. So what we can do to when a child sustains a burn, and I'm speaking from experience here, my son poured a boiling hot cup of coffee over himself when he was just about maybe a year old, and there's a thing that's a common denominator in a lot of preventable accidents, especially things like burns and near drowning, is that we're sometimes not completely clued up about the rate of our children's development. Now that isn't, and I include myself in this because we often can't see these developmental leaps coming. And when we're a bit more clued up about when the developmental leaps come and when your child may be able to grab onto something, then sometimes things can be prevented. But in this case, my child for the first time stood up, got a good holding on his feet on my husband's lap, pushed himself up and grabbed a hot cup of coffee that was as far away as I thought was safe, and pulled it straight over himself. My mother-in-law whipped his clothes off quicker than I could even blink. And because she had a childhood trauma of burns, and she just remembered what to do, and she literally whipped his clothes off. And because she did that, his burns were nowhere near what they could have been. So that is kind of a preventative measure, is being really clued up about the developmental leaps that your child may take. We're never going to always know when your child's going to do something different, but just being aware of that's a common denominator in a lot of accidents, and also quickly removing clothes. So that brings me to the first step of first aid when your child sustains a burn. The first thing we should be doing is removing any clothing or jewelry from that area, okay, unless it's stuck. If it's stuck to the area, we need to just leave, keep the child warm, and get medical attention immediately. Okay, so we need to remove the clothing, because sometimes, even if we don't think there's anything under there, there's times when there's a blog post on the Nest's blog. And it's one of the True Life Emergency series. There's 4 of them on there, True Life Emergency series, and one of them is about burns. It's about radiation burn. And this, if you go and read that, that's why we need to take the child's clothes off just to see what's going on underneath. We can redress them again straight away. But sometimes there's things going on under there that we can't see. But also if there's boiling hot water on a piece of clothing, if we whip it off quick enough, it can stop from seeping all the way through, and that's exactly what happened with my child. So remove the clothing unless it's stuck to the skin. We then need to place the burn under cool running water for 20 minutes, okay, 20 minutes at least. And then at this point, we then need to assess the burn and see whether it needs medical attention or not, okay? So if it's on a place that you can't put under running water, like the face, then we'll just get some flannels and towels, or even muslins are even better because they don't have the lint on them, and get a couple so we can just alternate. So you can have them under the water and hold them against. So if it is the face, it will need medical attention regardless of the severity of it. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a second. We don't use ice on a burn to cool it, because that just has a whole heap of other issues. It can get stuck to the skin and cause its own, like a freezer burn. It can make the child too cold, which is never good. Small children can't really regulate the temperature as well as older children. They can go into shock, and so we don't want any ice used, and we don't want any creams or lotions put on a burn if a burn is open and it needs medical attention, but we don't put creams and lotions on because that can trap the heat that's in there and actually continue to burn. So your doctor or nurse may give you some cream to use, and that's fine because that will be specifically for burns, but you don't put anything on the child's burn before you see anyone, a medical professional. You can cover the burn. If you need to get it seen, you need to cover it straight away to take them to where they're going to, GPs or the emergency department. And you cover it with something that's lint-free, like a cloth that's lint-free. Like, again, muslins are handy for this kind of thing because they don't have all those little bits on it like towels. But the best thing you can use is cling film or cling wrap, whatever you want to call it. And you can wrap the burn with some cling wrap. But that cling wrap's not to stay on any longer than an hour. So make sure if you do wrap it that you're going to get help straight away. Okay, you need to seek medical advice if the burn is larger than a 20-cent piece or say 3 centimeters in diameter. If it's on the face, the hands, the genitals or the feet, okay, because burns can have all sorts of connotations. It's not just about the burn on the skin. Sometimes when the burns heal, they can heal with the skin's really tight and they can need sort of, medical intervention and scarring and all sorts of things. So it definitely needs to be seen if it's on the hands, face, feet or genitals. And if it's deep, obviously, or infected, or again, this is where you use your parents' intuition. If you're worried and you feel like it needs medical attention, then get it seen, okay? Even if it doesn't hit any of those criteria. The other thing that needs to be seen is anything that's caused by a chemical, any burn that's caused by a chemical or electric burn, it definitely needs to be seen. Or if there's any signs of inhalation, so if there's any little black soot around the mouth or the nose, or you believe there's been any airway, if they've swallowed some boiling hot water because the airway could be swollen, or if they've inhaled anything at all, you might see snot, or if there's constant coughing or anything like that, they need to be seen by a medical professional. In an emergency, if you want to call an ambulance, it's 000. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. I'm going to post the link for the blog. It will be in the link in this video. The blog post about the radiation burns, which I definitely will go and have a read. It's not always easy to read these things, but it's good to be in the know. So these things can sometimes be preventable. So I hope you have a good week. And take care, and any questions as ever you can contact us over at The Nest, either on a private message or you can email us. You can just check out the website, there's an email address there and a contact form. Okay, take care, speak to you soon, bye bye.